Wally or one mic, big pimpin' or song cry. Men lie and women lie, and we in sync like bye-bye. I fishtailed in a Bronco, got 5 rooms in my condo. Punch Chris Paul like I'm Rondo, ain't no bygones, I'm a honcho. Got my main chick in a Sancha, my side chick in a Honda, my boo thing in a Beamer, and she cheeked up like a goddess. I just can't be with no faking, you heard wrong, mistaken. You talk big but act small like catch on, I'm hating. Yeah, I know these people need me. Day 3-piece while I roll one deep. Not no wolf, but I'm not no sheep. Heard these hoes like my name Bo Peep. I was Black Mike with the glove on, White Mike with my Uggs on, Black Drake and my thug on, then I'm White Drake getting hugged on. You ain't seen that when I pull up. Peach Sprite in my full cup, shift weight like a fulcrum, ain't no days off like I'm Bueller. What is the meaning of this? Is it a bliss? Is it a diss? Wicked, I'm wicked, I'm wicked, I'm rich. Look at the things that I predict. You couldn't hang out on my cliff. Look at you change out in the GIF. Thought you was gang, thought you could sing, but you were lame, stink as a whiff.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I fuck with the war. I tried to get in, the nigga said no, it is what it is. My record was clean as Dirty Diana, the cup overflowed. I can't get along with these negative hoes unless they're inspired to take off their clothes. Back by the time that the pussy exposed, some man get nervous and blow up the phone. Yeah, who is this? I don't know. I don't know.
Yes, yes, yes. Air horns. What's up? What's up? What's up? Give everybody a few minutes to funnel in. Call the Amber Lamps. That's correct.
Gang, 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 gang.
Why does my lighting look so much better? I don't know. It's exact same lighting as earlier, minus the shades are now closed. That's probably the only difference. I cannot make this time of day happen 24/7. I'm sorry. It doesn't work like that. How's everybody doing? Everybody good? Everybody ready? Matchups are up. Group hug or group applause, group daps, all that good jazz. So we're here to just kick things off. Let everybody know Square Up is now underway. Topics are up. Matches are posted. Here to answer any questions. Here to kind of give some general, this is the thing that's going down. Grinding on Power World. Okay, that's what's up. So, I'm doing all right. Tired, but chugging along. Trying to get a lot of things done. Trying to get this album loaded up so that can drop into the month. Getting the Square Up stuff squared away, pun intended. But I think everything is fine now. Predictions? I can do some predictions. I don't know if any of them will be spot on, but yeah, we can do some predictions too. You have questions? If you have questions, drop them in the chat. I will answer them one at a time. I'll start off by just saying, reminder, this is a league, not a tournament, so no elimination. So if you lose a round, you do not go home, you keep competing. If for whatever reason that you know for sure you're not going to make it into a round and you don't want to take the loss, message me before the round starts so that I can put you on hold. Otherwise, if you don't show up, it's just a loss. As you guys have seen, we have 41 people competing. Okay. Do we vote the first week or no? No. So the format is 1 week for the competitors to create their songs, and then 1 week for voting. So up until 1 week from today, all the people who have entered, they'll be making their songs, creating their songs, mixing their songs, posting their songs. Starting next Monday, so not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, voting will open. Voting will be open from Monday through Saturday. Give people time to go through all 20 matchups, because it's a lot of matchups, a lot of music to listen to. Give some votes. Then the voting will be closed and tallied up. Next round will be posted the 2 weeks from now. If Joe Boston were competing, could you be in the background screaming some ad libs? I guess you could. I'm not trying to be super restrictive on the songs. I mean, obviously, if you just AI some vocals or it's like mostly somebody else on the song, probably going to have some sidebar conversation. But at the end of the day, I think the voters are going to show up and they're going to put their best input into what content you have presented. There's no minimum song length. So if you decide you have 30 seconds of top-notch shit and then your competitor wipes you away with 2 minutes worth of content, that's on you. If you want to be all savant and drop 30-second songs, that's on you. I'm almost willing to bet that there's nobody who's going to vote for a 30-second song over a 2-minute song. So I'm leaving it up to the community. Yes, you're allowed to use samples, movies, sound bits. You can do all that stuff. Like I said, I mean, I watched Battle of the Bangers. I think Battle of the Bangers was ran great, as good as it could be. I'm trying to be hands-off in the creative aspect of this, other than what's stipulated round per round. Yeah, I mean, totally. If there's like a 30-second song that is better than your 2-minute song, then that's on you. Sound bits are allowed. Samples are allowed. Yeah. Look, use your best judgment. If you think that you're going to sample your way into a win, that's up to you. What week will Joe Boston crash out? Probably week 3. Or round 3, I should say. Round 3. Go 2 rounds and then he'll say, fuck this shit. Let me jump in Dice's inbox and give him a piece of my mind. That's probably what I'm predicting. So yeah, no minimum time limit on your tracks. 1 week for creating, 1 week for voting. Other stuff. Yeah, I'm not gonna be picky about samples and all that other shit, man. Just, you guys are the artists, right? You know, you went through the Battle of the Bangers. You've made songs before. Make your songs. As far as topics, so yeah, you guys saw how it went. The threads get created, then I'll put the topics in there. It's not going to be the same shit every week. So I have said that there's going to be at least a couple weeks where you'll be provided a beat. There's going to be some other change-ups as well. Other thing is we have an odd number of competitors. So X-Raider was left with a bye week. But what I'm doing with the bye weeks is that person has to make a song due on the same day. Their song will then be used for the review show up until the next person has a bye week. So they have to basically, you know, provide intro music for the review show. You still put to work. If we have multiple people who have buys, yeah, do the same day, do next Sunday. So if, you know, 3 rounds from now somebody else has a buy, then it's their turn to do a intro music. At the end of all of this, I'll do either on the review show or a separate show where you guys jump in here. We vote on which intro song was the best, and then that intro song will be used up until we have a fall tournament somewhere around October, November time. But that'll be the intro music for our review show, and we'll also if that person wants to, we'll distribute their song on their behalf through the White Collar Rhymes label. So if you have to pay fees or whatever to distribute your music, we'll take care of all that for you. Nah, X-Rated doesn't have to do a song today. No, do the same time as everybody else in the round. Yeah, I mean, I try to make this as bare bones as possible. The only thing where it's going to get a little bit dicey is on the voting. So with the voting, everybody who's in the competition, you can vote on every other competitor's track. The only stipulation that I have after watching Battle of the Bangers is anybody who's new to the server, if you have been here for less than 3 months, sorry, but no votes allowed. Just to eliminate all the background chatter of who's this person joining the server just to vote, yada, 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 all that other stuff. So I don't want to deal with all that noise. If you're new here, you're more than welcome to listen and enjoy the stuff. Just no votes. Leave your comments elsewhere. Any other questions? More questions? Any thoughts, concerns? Yeah, I think I'd have to look at. I don't even remember who Catalyst's homies are, but I mean, fuck it, they're here. I think they all joined into the tournament anyway. But yeah, somebody might not be eligible for the first few rounds, and they might be eligible for the last few. It can work out like that. Just I'm gonna check the join date. If you join within 3 months, sorry. If not, cool. But yeah, so I mean, 20 matchups first round. It's 40 tracks. If somebody here's the other thing that I was thinking about too, talking about no shows. I saw people saying Cryptic Mitch said there's going to be 27 no shows. If somebody no shows for 2 weeks in a row, then I'm kicking them out, and they'll have to basically announce themselves in order to get back in. So weeding out anything that looks like somebody just dead weight, we'll filter that stuff out. Maybe ban them. We'll think about it. But nah, I mean, that was part of the reason that I didn't want to outwardly promote it outside of the Discord, because these are people who are already in the community. So I didn't do any outside promotion. I didn't go on Instagram. I didn't do any extra YouTube videos, no Reddit posts, no Facebook posts, nothing outside of the Discord that said, hey, join our competition here. So all 40 people that are in here have been in the Discord, other than a couple of new people, I think. A couple of new names that I wasn't quite super familiar with, and some of them that I know for sure knew, like Little Swiss. He's just joined the Discord a couple weeks ago. Everybody else has pretty much been around here. So I'm anticipating at most like 5 or 6 no-shows. Yeah. Brit's been here. Well, Brit's a dark horse. I don't know what's going to happen with Brit. But also to say this, I know people kind of favor hip hop, but anything goes. Like if somebody has a country song, that might win out. Somebody has a pop song, that might win out. Yeah, it's too late to join. Entry has now been officially closed. Matches are up. What's my favorite cereal? Frosted Krispies. Not regular Rice Krispies. Krispies with the sugar on them. If you give me regular plain ass Rice Krispies, I will kindly pour it back on your lap and say no thank you. I don't know, that'd be funny, right? I mean, maybe people might want a little bit of comedy to get through their round, you know? We had Sotorius, he dropped a pretty erotic track in the review show this morning. Got an 8. Talking about sniffing and eating ass. Hey, man. Not going to say I feel you, but I feel you. Any other questions? Anything that people aren't sure about? I try to make this as simple as possible. If not, I can probably do a few predictions. Or if y'all want me to, if y'all want to ask me about some matches that I think might go one way or the other, I'll throw in some thoughts on those. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I am hungry. I've eaten some leftover breakfast, a slice of apple pie. Yeah, if you want to do ad libs for Joe Boston and Joe Boston doesn't curse you out before the song releases, then more power to you. All Savant isn't in the competition. All Savant did not sign up. All Savant does not feel like he's one of the best on the server, maybe. Just saying. Yes, there are other plans for special weeks, and I am keeping it a surprise. I have not told anybody, not told D-Bird, not told anybody else what my plans are. Just know that they will happen, and you will have to just adjust accordingly. It's not going to be anything crazy. It's just how the songs are going to be selected, basically. But yeah, there's going to be at least 2 change-ups that haven't been announced. You and Joe are great friends. It's lovely. Any other questions? Glad to hear that this is making sense. Where can you see everyone that signed up? Here. I'll make the bracket public at least. Here, I'll put the bracket in the chat, but also in the Discord, I'll make it public so that everybody can get to it. Go through. All right, hold on. Oh, it did go through. My bad. It multi-posted. Whoops. I'll delete one of those. Are future rounds random too, or is it winners versus winners? So yes and yes. So winners will face winners, losers will face losers, but it's not in any particular order. So nobody's been seeded, nobody's been ranked. So if you win, you could face, the person who was underneath you in the bracket. You could face somebody who is at the bottom of it. You could face X-Rater, but winners face winners, losers face losers. And then at the end of the season, so at the end of the league, whoever has the most wins will be the winner. If there are 2 people with the same record, so maybe 2 people went 5-0 or 5-1 or 6-0, whatever, then it tallies by the number of votes. So the number of votes is going to be important if we end up with people with similar records. Put in for the battle. You mean you wanted to compete? We just closed down the registration like 3 hours ago. Dead by Dawn being your album. Maybe I missed part of that. 100 Grown Men or Silverback Gorilla? Yes, the infamous Twitter debate that has now become a worldwide craze. Honestly, I think maybe 100 men could do it, but it also depends on what kind of men we're talking about. Like, if you got 100 rogue Jepsons versus a silverback gorilla, I'd take the gorilla. No offense, Rogue. On the beats, will they be one genre or do you one prop? I have a folder with 100 beats in it. They are of a mixed bag, but they're all available for use. I don't know what styles they are. They're just 100 beats. So I'm just throwing it out there. I will try to go through and get some variety of sort, but the thing that I wanted to be able is that it's not just a beat that has like producer tags on it and all that stuff. I wanted the beat to be available for use. So if there are producers, and I'll keep asking the producer community, if there are producers that want to submit some beats, you're more than welcome to send me some beats. But the main thing that I wanted to ensure was that it was something that was releasable if the artist felt like, hey, I like this track enough that I want to do something with. But no, I don't have multiple boom bap beats. I pray that I don't have more than 10 boom bap beats on my hard drive. Yeah, I don't think a gorilla could take on 100 men. Maybe 50 men tops if it's like peak physique gorilla. Maybe it's like a 30-year-old gorilla and they're like, you know, at the prime of their life. They're out here like impressing all the nice young lady gorillas. But I don't think a gorilla is taking out 100 people simultaneously. I also think it would be hilarious to watch it, but you know, who knows? Maybe next year when the world continues to dive into chaos. Can gorillas even live to 30? What do you mean? What are you talking about? 100 Shaqs. Are we talking like current Shaq? Shaq in the 2000s, Shaq in the 90s? Which Shaq are we talking about? Because if you're talking current day Shaq, gorilla all day. All the current day Shaq can do is make more babies. I think he's up to 7 kids. I mean, we're online right now. The internet is at your fingertips. 2000 Shaq? Oof. I would take 2000's Shaq. 100, 2000 Shaqs over a gorilla. Yeah. Only took what? 23 minutes, 15 seconds to get a butt stuff topic. Good old Ray Stans with the butt stuff. Should have known. All right. Well, if everything's clear, let's see what we have as far as matchups. I don't want to make any predictions. I don't want to feel like I'm swaying things. Is that swaying that I'm making predictions? I don't know. I'm not voting. Is Boob Ass the best named? Oh, Boob Bass. No, it's the worst name plugin because spacing and punctuation matters. Guarantee you 90% of the people are calling it Boo Bass and not Boo Bass. All right, let's see. Predictions. I need to refresh my memory on some of these people because I haven't heard their music in a while. Above Orbit versus MCD. Let's see. Oh, Above Orbit was the guy who had the Palestinian cowboy song. He's actually good. I think that would come down to preference. What topics do they have? Star of the show, Free Fall Dreams. Oof, I don't know. This is a tough one. MCD versus Above Orbit. I feel like people would end up voting for MCD just because of familiarity, but I feel like Above Orbit would give him a run for his money. I don't think Above Orbit is a slouch on the microphone from the last song that we heard from him. So take with that what you will. Uno Deuce. Never heard this person. Uno Deuce versus AWOL. Uno Deuce has not posted any tracks. I believe they are a friend of X-Raider. Oh, wait, no. I don't know anything about Uno Deuce, so I'm going to give AWOL the nod there. Mason versus D Bird or Mista. Based on the level that Mista is at, I would give the edge to D Bird just because I feel like D Bird will put out a more quality product. But I feel like Mista, probably by the third round, will probably be more of a threat. I think a lot of people, I'll say this, a lot of people in the community who folks would consider as novice, I feel like it's just it's a repetition thing. People don't make enough music, and then when they do make music, they're so damn adamant about it being like, oh, I need to make this particular song about this particular topic over this particular beat. Like, if you just get out here and just start making music, I feel like that repetition will build up more consistent energy. So Mista may surprise us, but I feel like probably another couple rounds, they'll be more of a threat to some people and sneak out some W's. Lil Swiss versus Casanova Westside. This is probably going to be one of the better matchups of the whole tournament because Lil Swiss is newly joined to the community, but he's super dope. I believe he had a 9 or a 10 track today on the review show. Casanova Westside has a whole project full of diss songs to his exes that have been pretty top notch. I think both of their storytelling capabilities are above and beyond average. If I had to just randomly pick somebody based on topics, I would have to pick Lil Swiss. But if I had to pick somebody based on charisma and ability to make me laugh, I would say Casanova Westside. This one could really go either way. What are their topics here? Taste the Future, Painted Skies, Midas Touch. Yeah, I don't know. Both of those guys. Oh, wait, no, that's D Bird Mason. Their topics are drive-bys and choppers, day drop, drama, special delivery. I feel like Casanova Westside will probably have the track that people will enjoy the most, but I think people will respect Little Swiss. I don't know. They could really go either way. Brit versus Froissant Flint. I'm gonna give that one to Brent. Give Brit a nod here. I don't know that Brit. I don't know. I don't know what Brit's gonna do. I have not heard Brit actually record a song yet. I have heard Froissant Flint. I'm gonna vote against him just to motivate him to go harder, because I feel like he can go harder, and Brit is a dark horse. But I'm gonna vote Brit on that one. Who else we got? Iron Mike, Modern Day McConaughey versus Prince Unknown. What has Prince Unknown done? Let's see here. He's got some links. Pink Moon. Oh, okay. I know this guy. I'm gonna say Modern Day McConaughey is gonna take this one only because he's more of a rapper. I feel like that'll probably appeal to people. I feel like Prince Unknown, he makes melodic hip hop. He could surprise us. I've only heard one track from him. But I feel like overall, maybe the community, just to start out with, would gravitate more towards the hip hop side, unless you have a super polished pop track in this instance of like pure hip hop versus like somebody who's melodic pop. That's basically where I'm at on that one. Yeah, I'm not encouraging hip hop in this tournament. Like I totally am not saying come in here and be a rapper. Do what you want to do. But yeah, modern day McConaughey, for all his mannerisms and caricatures that people may or may not like, he still is a decent MC. So I feel like he'll get the edge on that one. Coulter versus Chris Whitty. Coulter. However, this is one of those people, Chris Whitty, I think that being in this tournament, being in this situation, not tournament, being in this league where you have to make songs over and over again, back to back, I feel like it's going to improve his ability if he takes the input to the head, right? If you just kind of like blow it off like, oh, these guys don't understand my music, then yeah, you're just going to end up in the same plateau. But I feel like if Chris listens to whatever the voters say and he applies it, I think he can make some drastic improvements. He's one of those folks who like just makes music sparingly, so he's like always just like right there, but not like quite over the hump yet, in my opinion. Johnny Soul versus the Love St. James. Let me remind myself about St. James. Let's see. Controller. Let me play this real quick.
Because I already told you, that I ain't elevated, but I ain't giving anybody.
Okay. He's more of a rapper. This is going to come down to who has the most polished track at the end of the day. I've only heard one of his. I've only heard one of St. James, and it was definitely boom bap. So I would think like DJ B style. I know Soul said he's going to do rock. So whichever one of you two has the most polished track will probably win. So whoever you get to mix it, be sharp. Where are the country singers at? I'm glad you asked, Kenny, because I don't fucking know. Demon Bird versus Lil Bucky. Lil Bucky, what does he have? Amir Vic. Hold on, let me listen. Okay, I remember Amir. Hold on.
You letting this shit get real, they'd be the first thing.
Okay. Lil Bucky can win if he does an actual decent track. Unless Demon Bird actually like doesn't fucking freestyle a track and actually spends energy and effort into making a complete song end to end, Lil Bucky can take this. Otherwise, Demon Bird's got it easy. Just my thought. Bigger Sean versus Waterboy. Lil Sweat. Who the fuck is Lil Sweat? Is Lil Sweat? Hold on. Who's Lil Sweat? Lil Sweat. Lil Sweat is one of Catalyst's friends. Haven't heard anything from Lil Sweat, Waterboy. If I had to, he was probably on that track that Catalyst played. If he was one of those people on the Dance With Me track that Catalyst played, I think he has an edge on Bigger Sean just by the fact that those people had a little bit more polish. Bigger Sean has the ability to be clever and somewhat witty. I think he just has to have more polish in his finished product. He's just too many, whatever goofball songs. If he takes it serious, like they had that song, Bigger Sean and Swag Lean had the song Outside. If they do songs like that, they could get definitely several W's out of this tournament. You got to take it serious. Otherwise, I think Waterboy takes this over Bigger Sean. YPG versus Sully. This is going to come down to preference here. I think, didn't these two face off in the Battle of the Bangers? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Was that a round? I seem to think that was a round or a potential round. Or I could be tripping. I'm probably tripping. My guess here. What are their topics? Pistol Play, Embers of Love, Weak Heart. I feel like YPG is going to do Pistol Play and Sully is going to do Weak Heart. I think YPG slight favorite in this one. Just because he's got a little bit more presentation and charisma in his delivery. But Sully is also no slouch. So I'm not saying that YPG is an enormous favorite. I'm just giving him like a little slight nod. Trev versus Birdcage. Whew. Trev definitely has better quality and more crisp delivery. Birdcage is a wild card where he can make something that's catchy. Slight nod to Trev. Slight nod to Trev. Only because I feel like Birdcage might do something so abstract that Trev basically overpowers the appeal of the track. They've got the topics Shadows That Talk, Reckless Harmony, and Pick of the Litter. So nothing pretty, straightforward for either of them. I think it all depends on how Trev approaches it. But if Birdcage tries to go too abstract, then I think it might work against him. So it's my thought on that. Mimic versus Ripples. I feel like Mimic will be a crowd favorite just because people recognize the name, but I think Ripples is more than capable of taking this one from a hip-hop standpoint. Experienced writer, experienced performer. I think this is kind of similar to the last matchup with Birdcage and Trev, where if Mimic gets a little bit too abstract and deep in his pocket, then maybe Ripples might have the chance to just appeal to more people. But I think my personal belief, based on what I've seen, is people are going to vote for Mimic just because they're familiar with Mimic more so. And it will take a couple of rounds to get used to what Ripples has to present. But I think Ripples is probably more appealing if I had to guess. High Lord Tech versus Swag Lean. High Lord Tech, friend of X-Raiders. Swag Lean, friend of the show. What topics? The Clocks Tango, Whisper of the Soul, City Lights. I'm going to vote Swag Lean. I think Swag Lean takes this one. I don't know why. There's something in my stomach says Swag Lean, easy money. Easy victory for Swag Lean. King Zig versus Nikki Joe. Simple Things, Cops and Robbers, Frostbitten. Nikki's already mentioned about her timing of her schedule, so I'm not sure she'll crunch something out in a timely manner. In which case, Zig probably just has the edge on this one by default. It depends on the support system for Nikki. If she can like get back to her house in time to record and pump out something, again, I think crowd favorite. She'll probably get some votes, but the way it's looking right now with her schedule, I feel like Zig is gonna maybe have a bye week if she just doesn't get the timing down. But if I had to think full song versus full song, and this isn't my personal preference, but I feel like the crowd will probably favor the more hip hop element song. So I would say Nikki probably has to make something more pop and lighthearted and not so like, I say this a lot, and I know people who love their super deep, intricate lyrics probably don't like it, but I feel like you got to appeal to the masses and not to yourself sometimes. But you can still be true to yourself while appealing to the masses. You just got to like know what your audience is. So you got to write for the masses and not for your brain on this one, Nikki. Rogue Jepsen versus JCC. Space Colony, Time Bomb, and Envious. Space Colony obviously being the odd topic out on this one. I don't know which topics these two gentlemen would choose. This could go either way, right? Rogue could come up with a nice little catchy, depressing song. JCC could come up with a nice, catchy, depressing song. If I had to go by years of experience, I would give this to JCC. That's the only thing I really have on this one. Otherwise, I think this is pretty evenly matched. Both gentlemen equally depressed. I like it. Ray was right. This is the only place where you can say I'm depressed and fire emoji. Gunshots for depression. Who we got left? Catalyst versus Joe Boston. Fancy that, Lost in the Moment, and Cheating on a Good Day. As long as Catalyst doesn't try to be like, let me impress everybody with making this beat and doing this mix and doing all this other shit, I think he can take this one. Joe Boston has a support system that might push him across the finish line, though. And I'll probably say this a lot if you guys ask me for my predictions, is like, if you take a risk, it's high reward, but it's also high loss if you take too big of a risk and it doesn't pan out. So if Catalyst doesn't, I think Catalyst can play it safe, and Joe Boston has to take the risk. Otherwise, I would say in other matchups, Catalyst needs to take more risk. But Joe Boston definitely needs to take a risk here, use some support systems. Like I said, this is an open-ended tournament. I'm come with a track. Make your best. Privacy versus Ravilaz. Who is this? Let's see. Have I heard this before? Link. New single out on Spotify. Let's take a listen.
Bitch on the balls, yeah. That's a rising with a fit, bitch. I'm starting rolling on my own, yeah. Constantly talk about splits, yeah. Couple grams for the road, yeah. Don't need to ask no questions, yeah. Know me already know, yeah. When Sylvia crazy, yeah.
I think Privacy's going to take this one, unless Ravilaz has more to his pocket. I don't know how well mumble rap will appeal to the voters. Well, not to say that this is mumble rap, but it feels like that category of music that people would classify it as. And I think Privacy just has a more open appeal. We'll see. Nick Bonin versus Ray Stans. Ray Stans all fucking day. Don't even need to discuss this one. No questions. Go Gadget, Fusion, Time Leap. I don't know. I mean, Nick Bonen's been awfully quiet lately. I know Ray Stans has been saying he's like hit a roadblock, but I know I've been working with Ray recently, and Ray has done some bangers, as D Bird would say. Nick Bonen's always good for bangers, but you never know here, right? Ray could appeal to the hearts and souls of people and get some votes. Yeah, Ray stands all day. Fuck out of here, Nick Bonen. Cody Nash versus Tysky. I don't remember Tysky's music. I've talked to Tysky a lot. Let me find something real quick. Nightshade. Let's see. What is this? Gray Matter. I haven't heard this one. Let me find something else. Let's see. Okay, he's done the production stuff too. What about this last one? I don't know. It seems like more of a producer than an artist. I don't know. From the one song that I heard, he'll have to make sure his mixing is on point. If that's one thing Cody Nash is probably going to have on deck is a decent mix. So Tysky, if you want to compete, you got to make sure your mix is on point. Yeah, I think that's probably what it boils down to. But I think Nash is probably going to be the favorite in this one. So that's everything. That's 20 matchups due next Sunday, a week from today. For all you who are competing, good luck to you. If you run into any challenges, feel free to reach out to me. Give me some time to respond if I am at my day job or if I am doing other stuff. But it should be good, man. I'm trying to make sure that, this pushes people's creative limits and it's not just another tournament or another, just make this song. Like I said earlier, if you just join, there are going to be a couple of rounds where things are going to change up. So it's not going to be the same old 3 topics, 3 beats week after week. So could be next week, could be the 3rd week. We'll see. What? Okay, got some choice words there. X-Rater. All right. Any other questions? Any last questions, comments, concerns before I wrap this up and get out of y'all's hair? Appreciate y'all tuning in and hanging out. Thank you again for everybody who joined. Seems like we've got all of our ducks in a row. So I wish you guys well. If you do think of some questions later on, you know where to find me. If you don't know where to find me, you fucking idiot. I hope you figure that out. All right. Well, I'm going to get out of here. I'll catch y'all on the flip side. That's right, Jay. Do better. If you don't know how to find me, I don't know what to tell you. See y'all on the flip side. See y'all on the Discord. I've got a Ray Stans album to drop, and Ray's on my ass daily asking for updates. So I got to get on that. So I'll catch y'all later. Deuces. Good luck to everybody competing. See you next week. Adios.